PR Connections Radio presents.
Welcome to Vegas Hockey Hub Recap here on PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. I'm your host, Ian Rachiele. And on this edition, we are going to be doing the breakdown and recap of the Ottawa Senators taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. As on behalf of Vegas Hockey Hub Recap, where we break down every single game of the 2024-2025 season for your Vegas Golden Knights. And this was an amazing game at the end. Now, at the beginning, it was infuriating. At the beginning, there was a lot of ranting and raving, but at the end of it, incredible. And we'll break down every aspect of this game here on Vegas Hockey Hub. Now, I highly recommend just go to the website, www.prconnectionsradio.com. Check out over a dozen shows we have on the platform, including Vegas Hockey Hub, and also go to our social media platforms as well at Vegas Hockey Hub. And if you want to follow your host, I'm right down there as well at Ian J. Rachiele. So getting into this recap, breaking down what happened between the Golden Knights and the Ottawa Senators. But I do want to mention something very quickly, and that is Happy Nevada Day. So for the people in Las Vegas, and a certain portion of our audience is from Las Vegas, Happy Nevada Day. And to celebrate Nevada Day, the Vegas Golden Knights had an afternoon matinee. So a 3 p.m. game instead of the normal 7 p.m. game for your Vegas Golden Knights. And then conceding this game and concluding after this game ended, the Vegas Golden Knights would end around 6 p.m. And then about an hour later, the UNLV Rebels football team took on Boise State at Allegiant Stadium right across the road. So for Nevada Day, very interesting. And I do want to give a quick shout out to our AHL team, our Henderson Silver Knights, who actually played at 10 a.m. out there in Henderson. So if you are a hockey fan, if you're someone who covers hockey, you had a very busy day here in Nevada. Starting out, the Henderson Silver Knights, the UNLV Rebels hockey team took on Arizona during this day as well. And then the Vegas Golden Knights took on the Ottawa Senators. So yeah, happy Nevada Day to everybody out there. And then this is going to be the last episode we do this, but I just want to acknowledge it because of Hockey Fights Cancer and because of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We have spent the last couple episodes wearing this pink shirt right here. It's our way of celebrating and bringing awareness to breast cancer, and to Hockey Fights Cancer. So, yes, that's the reason why we're wearing this pink shirt right here. So, getting into this game, this would be an interesting matchup because of the pregame stuff, and that is what the forward lines are for the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, there was no major shakeup. All right, there was maybe a few tweaks to the lineup, but there's no major news. William Karlsson is back in practice. We took video of it. We put it up on our social media pages. William Karlsson, he's skating around. He's skating at City National. He has a normal jersey on. We expect him to be back for tomorrow's game against San Jose. So, against San Jose, we heavily expect him to come back. And then during the game against Ottawa, we're going to cover a certain injury, and we'll talk about all of that later on. But here's your forward lines here on Vegas Hockey Hub. On line one, you have Ivan Barbashev, Jack Eichel, and Mark Stone, the most productive first line in the NHL, and they sure made an impact in this game. In forward line two, we have Brett Howden, Tomas Hertl, and Pavel Dorofeyev. Brett Howden having an amazing, incredible start to the year. And then Hertl, good player on the power play. And then you have the progression of production for Pavel Dorofeyev. And then forward line three, Tanner Pearson, Nicholas Waugh, and Keegan Kolesar. And then line four is Brendan Bryson, Alexander Holtz, and Cole Schwindt. So what the change here is that they flipped the bottom six. So the previous game, it was the third line being Brisson, Holtz, and Schwindt. And then line four was Pearson, Waugh, and Kolesar. So the main difference here is that you have the forward line three now being Pearson, Waugh, and Kolesar, and then line four being Brisson, Schwind, and Holtz. And then your defensive pairings for your Vegas Golden Knights in this game. Now, Alex Pietrangelo and Noah Hanifin, that is your first defensive pairing. Shea Theodore, who is dealing with an illness in the previous game against LA, he is back in the starting lineup. He is going to be with Brayden McNabb. And then Nicholas Hague is with Zach Whitecloud. So when it comes to defensive pairings, I'm going to go over that one more time because it is Noah Hanifin and Alex Pietrangelo, Shea Theodore and Brayden McNabb, and you have Nicholas Hague, and you have Zach Whitecloud. And then in net for your Vegas Golden Knights on the Nevada day would be Adin Hill. So Adin Hill, he is, Ilya Samsonov did a back-to-back recently. So Adin Hill, his first start since the game against Tampa Bay almost a week ago. So to start out this game for your Vegas Golden Knights, the first period would kind of be a downer for the Vegas Golden Knights, as not even 2 minutes into this game, Adin Hill, I have no idea how you let this goal happen. You were in the wrong spot. The positioning was bad. But Adam Gaudette shoots a puck in between his shoulder pad and kind of in between his armpit and gets right in there, and it's a goal for the Ottawa Senators. And unfortunately, a lot of blame has to go on Adin Hill because he was just in the wrong spot. I mean, I don't know what he was doing. He was like here, looking at this way, and the puck is over here. So, Adin Hill, not the best moment in that game to start that out. And with Adam Gaudette, this is not going to be the first time you're going to hear his name, as he will be back later on in this game. But, yeah, Vegas Golden Knights would be down 1-0 to start out this game. And then about halfway into the first period, there would be some good physicality. There was a moment where Tim Stützle and Tanner Pearson collided mid-ice. Tanner Pearson shrugged it off, but he did look a little bit hurt when he skated back to the bench. And then halfway into the first period, Claude Giroux, the longtime former Philadelphia Flyer, he would get it right past Adin Hill and make it his third goal of the season, assisted by Nick Jensen and Drake Breverson. And, the Ottawa Senators being up 2-0 to start out this game. And it was kind of looking like this is going to be a game that gets away from your Vegas Golden Knights. I saw the social media post. There were a lot of people bashing Adin Hill for his performance in the first 10 minutes of this game. Honestly, I can't sit here and try to critique that or try to make excuses for Adin Hill. He looked very stiff. And more importantly, in terms of self-confidence, I do have to acknowledge that it does look from an outsider's perspective that as more games are going on in this season, in terms of self-confidence, Ilya Samsonov looks like he's here. Right? He has a lot of self-confidence in net. He's cool. He's calm. He's collective. But Adin Hill looks like it's down here. And I don't know if it's due to the injury he had last year. Is that still in his mind? Anytime, a goaltender comes back from an injury, there's always going to be that self-confidence kind of situation. But Adin Hill, in the first near month of the season, he just doesn't look right. And it's nothing against Adin Hill personally. I know there's people who love Adin Hill. I've met people who are major fans of Adin Hill. Trust me, I get it. So this is a critique, not a blame. I'm going to say that when it comes to a critique, it just seems like Adin Hill's confidence is not where it's at 2 years ago when they won a Stanley Cup with him holding that Stanley Cup on his back. So, after that 2 goals let up, there would be a penalty on Ottawa as Nick Jensen would shoot the puck over the net and get a delay of game penalty. And even though there was a chance by the Vegas Golden Knights on the power play, interesting enough, I do have to give credit to Nicholas Waugh here. He had a shot on the right slot that just did not get past Linus Ullmark. So the Vegas Golden Knights stayed 2-0 after the power play opportunity. But speaking of Nicholas Waugh, after missing on that power play opportunity, he would be in a perfect opportunity about 3 minutes left in the first period as Nicholas Waugh would shoot it past Linus Ullmark, and he would get his second goal of the season, assisted by Tanner Pearson And then Alex Pietrangelo with his 7th assist of the season. And don't worry, we're going to hear Alex Pietrangelo's name a lot more later on in this game. Alex Pietrangelo, good setup here. Tanner Pearson getting it to Nicholas Waugh. And Nicholas Waugh doing a solid job in this first period. But the Vegas Golden Knights would not be done, as almost half a minute later, Nicholas Hague, hey, from one Nicholas to the other Nicholas, oh Nicholas, my Nicholas, Nicholas Hague with his first goal of the season, assisted by Alexander Holtz. So Alexander Holtz gets his first assist of the season. Nicholas Hague gets his first goal of the season. And just like that, with about 2 minutes left in the first period, you go from being at a downer at 2-0 to now being 2-2, and you're right back in this game against the Ottawa Senators. But were you? Unfortunately, there would be a turnover by Brayden McNabb. And look, no one's perfect, all right? Nabber, doesn't matter who your player is, nobody is perfect. There was a turnover, and then Drake Bretherson, he went down the other side, and he scores against Aiden Hill. So at the end of the first period, it would be a 3-2 game for the Ottawa Senators against the Vegas Golden Knights. So heading into the locker room for intermission, Golden Knights are down by 1 goal. And, kind of interesting in terms of perspective, because the first 5 minutes, the Golden Knights looked like they had more energy than they did in the first period. The first period, especially in the first half of the first period, the Golden Knights looked like they were just skating around. There wasn't a lot of hustle in that first period. Well, in the second period, they must have gotten that, secret stuff that Michael Jordan had in Space Jam, because they were just, energetic. They were hustling, going from the defensive zone into the neutral zone and into the offensive zone. And it would connect as about 5 minutes into the second period, Ivan Barbashev with his 6th goal of the season, Noah Hannafin, and Alex Pietrangelo with the assist. And just like that, your Golden Knights are tied at 3 with the Ottawa Senators. And for a guy like Alex Pietrangelo, 2nd assist of the game. And for Ivan Barbashev, what an incredible start to the year. I will give credit to the announcers, by the way, for looking this up. But Ivan Barbashev, it took him almost 40 games to have the amount of goals he has in this season alone. So what an amazing turnaround for Ivan Barbashev, a guy who struggled last year in the first half of the year. Well, in the first half of this season, Ivan Barbashev doing the best performance of his career. And then about a few minutes left in the second period, Keegan Kolesar, even though I thought it was Zach Whitecloud originally, but Keegan Kolesar would get a delay of game penalty. He shot the puck over the glass, and Kolesar would go to the penalty box. And for a team that is normally disciplined, this is a Vegas Golden Knights team that only gets 1 or 2 penalties a game now. That's one credit you have to give to the Golden Knights. They are not getting 5, 6, 7 penalties a game like they have in the past. For your Golden Knights, Keegan Kolesar in the penalty box, and the Ottawa Senators would capitalize on this as they would get a power play goal, not from Tim Stützle, not from Claude Giroux, not Brady Tkachuk, but Adam Gaudette. So Adam Gaudette, the former Vancouver Canuck, with his 2nd goal of the game and his 2nd goal of the season, and he would put the Ottawa Senators up by 1 at the end of the second period. So yeah, the Vegas Golden Knights, unfortunately, would be 0 for 1 on the penalty kill in this game and 0 for 1 on the power play at this point in time. Now, that would change later on, but the Vegas Golden Knights, like I said, would be at that point 0 for 1 on the power play and 0 for 1 on the penalty kill. So at the end of the second period, the Vegas Golden Knights would still be down by 1. It would be a 4-3 game for your Vegas Golden Knights. And in the third period, the Golden Knights, really for the first half of this game, it kind of seemed like they were just skating around. Brayden McNabb got a penalty to begin the third period. They did kill it off, thankfully, but McNabb did go to the penalty box. He had a holding penalty, And then for the Ottawa Senators, they would breathe life into the Vegas Golden Knights as a former Vegas Golden Knight in Nick Cousins. He would get an interference penalty and he would go to the penalty box. Your Golden Knights would get the second power play opportunity of this game, and it would connect as Tomas Hertl would score on the power play, and he would tie it up for the Vegas Golden Knights, a 4-4, Jack Eichel and Mark Stone with the assist on the power play. And you know what? Tomas Hertl, he is a power play wizard for your Vegas Golden Knights. Majority of his goals this season have been on the power play. And then about a minute later, the guy who was in the penalty box a period prior, Keegan Kolesar, with a nice shot, would get his second goal of the season, and he would put the Golden Knights up by 1 as it would be a 5-4 game. Tanner Pearson and Alex Pietrangelo with the assist. This would be Pearson's second assist of the game and Pietrangelo's third assist of the game. And then, with about 2 minutes left in this game, the Ottawa Senators would pull the goalie. Linus Ullmark would skate to the bench, and Mark Stone has the puck. Is he going to shoot it? No. He passes it over to Jack Eichel. Is Jack Eichel going to shoot it? No. He passes it over to Ivan Barbashev. Barbashev hits it, connects it with the empty net, and Ivan Barbashev, his second goal of the game, his 7th of the season, and Mark Stone and Jack Eichel now with 11 assists on the season. So, yeah, Vegas Golden Knights scored 3 goals in 85 seconds against the Ottawa Senators, and they would win this game 6-4. And you know what? The one takeaway I have to have is Alex Pietrangelo. He did an amazing job tonight for the Vegas Golden Knights. An absolute incredible statement for Alex Pietrangelo. He's kind of letting people know that, hey, I'm still this 2-time Stanley Cup champion. I'm still one of the best defensemen in all of hockey, and this is one of the reasons why. Also, another takeaway is the fact that when it comes to the Vegas Golden Knights, they have some production come from their bottom 6. Nicholas Watt, he scored in the first period. Keegan Kolesar, he scored in the third period. It's kind of fascinating to see the fact that the Vegas Golden Knights are getting production from the bottom 6. And then lastly, I will give him credit. After that little stumble in the first half of the first period, Adin Hill recovered, and he had a 35-save performance, and he almost had a goalie goal. Now, something a lot of people did not catch, but some people may have caught it, is that about a minute left, the Ottawa Senators would pull the goalie again. So Linus Ullmark would skate to the bench. Adin Hill, he goes behind the net. He has the puck on his stick, and he looks down the ice and sees that it's an empty net, and Adin Hill tries to chuck the puck down the ice and get himself a goal. And unfortunately, Ottawa Senators defenseman said, nah. He caught the puck. Unfortunately, did not allow it to happen. You know what? I like a goalie fight more than anybody else, but a goalie goal is something special. So we kind of got robbed of that in this game, but Adin Hill did try it. And like I alluded to before, 85 seconds to have 3 goals for the Golden Knights. An absolute incredible. By the way, the aura at T-Mobile Arena and the crowd was deafening in this game. And your Vegas Golden Knights, they win this game, and they are 5-2-1 on the season for your Vegas Golden Knights. And they're going to be taking on San Jose tomorrow on behalf of a back-to-back. And then they have Calgary on Monday. Your player of the game here on Vegas Hockey Hub Recap is Alex Pietrangelo, not just for his 3 assists, but Alex Pietrangelo, his stat sheet tonight, not only did he have a +4, but he had 4 shots on net. He blocked multiple shots. He had plenty of hits. And this is someone who did not give away the puck that often and did a lot of work for nearly 24 minutes of ice time. So Alex Pietrangelo, player of the game. And then before we get out of here, I do want to acknowledge that in the first period, during a stoppage, your Vegas Golden Knights did a tribute video to Michael Amadio. So Michael Amadio, he plays for Ottawa now. So very classy move, a lot of respect. People were cheering for Michael Amadio. You know, he told people thank you as he skated around. And Michael Amadio, I will say, by the way, thank you for winning a Stanley Cup with the Vegas Golden Knights. We appreciate all you did here in Vegas. So, this is the Vegas Hockey Hub. I'm your host, Ian Rachiele, and go Knights, go.